Welcome back to the VIP section. I'm your host, Jacob Hamilton, and it has been a while since episode 1 came out, but COVID kicked my ass. COVID in 2026, who would have thought? But we're back at it, and let's get into episode 2. The first topic of today's episode is Oklahoma City versus the Phoenix Suns. And obviously, as a Phoenix Suns fan, going into this series, you kind of know what's going to happen going up against one of the most historic teams in NBA history defensively, and with Shai Gilgeous and Chat and J-Dub, who got hurt with a hamstring injury. I got the Shams notification. I can't remember what it said off the top of my head, but that's really not the point of why I wanted to talk about Oklahoma City versus the Suns. I kind of wanted to talk about the referee problems. So if you missed it, which you'd have to be living under a rock, Devin Booker got a technical foul last night in the game versus the Thunder. And it was pretty interesting. Book, I think, I'm trying to remember it now, but it'll be shown up on the screen. He starts fumbling out of bounds and catches himself on an Oklahoma City coach. And Alex Caruso then looks at the ref, Gucci ref, I'm pretty sure, and says, technical foul, call a tech. And as Book's turning around, they blow the whistle and call a technical foul. That is pretty unsettling to me, and it's unsettling to Booker as well. Here's what he has to say about it.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but even the broadcast was confused by your tech. What was the explanation that you got?
I still haven't got one. It's definitely something that has to be looked into. I heard Caruso tell him to call the tech, and he ended up doing it. So that's one ref. In my 11 years, I haven't called a ref out by name, but James was terrible tonight, through and through. It's bad for the sport, bad for the integrity of the sport. People are going to start viewing this as a WWE, if they're not held responsible.
Yeah, and obviously he called the ref out by his first name, James. And like you said, he's 11 years in the league. He's never done that. And he's not an NBA champion, but he's a veteran in this league at this point, and he deserves the utmost respect, along with everybody else in the NBA, with getting calls. Calls like that where Alex Caruso is not Michael Jordan. Everybody knows the clip of Michael Jordan talking to the ref. Like, was that a foul, Mike? Was that a foul, Michael? Yes, foul. Alex Caruso is not Michael Jordan. Nobody should be able to do that anyway, but it's still just ridiculous. But even past that, called an offensive foul on Book where he's getting guarded by Caruso. He comes up for a mid-range shot and banks it off the glass, and they called an offensive foul, and you can see Alex Caruso hold his nose. He didn't touch his nose. He's flopping ridiculously. I'll put it up on the screen as well.
Unnatural move. Okay. Where is the unnatural move there?
Are they saying Booker stuck the left arm?
But it's just ridiculous that that this is happening. Are we kidding? Like Book said, this isn't the WWE. People aren't going to take our league serious. And I'm not a person who calls Shai a foul baiter, because I think getting to the line is a part of the game. I think that's just the truth, and you can't deny that. But after watching last night's game, it was ridiculous. And the game before, it was ridiculous. And you can kind of just see it in a little bit of every series. There's always one player that gets more calls than everybody else, and the calls seem to never make sense the majority of the time. And I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, wanted to get it off my chest, because it's something that's been bothering me all day. But also, the shot differential, this is a downside on the Suns' fault here. The shot differential between Book, Dylan, and Jalen is ridiculous. Book shot 7 for 14 from the field with 5 turnovers, 22.7 rebounds, and 4 assists. Booker, if you're our star player, the player you want to lead this team to an NBA championship, you're not going to do that by shooting 14 shots a game. I'm sorry. You're just not. That's not how things get done. And being an 11-year veteran in the league, you should know that. You've been to the finals. You played with Chris Paul. You had an elite team around you, and you realize that the more shots you take yourself, the more success the team usually has. And I get doubles happen, and it's not as simple as just Book taking more shots. I understand that. But you think in the summertime, Book would want to work on being doubled and how to get around that. Or Jordan Knott would want to call more plays. But Dylan Brooks shot 12 for 23 from the field with 30.6 boards and 1 assist. I mean, Dylan Brooks can score whenever he wants, honestly. He's a good scorer. We all know this. But he has no business taking 23 shots. I'm sorry. And Jalen Green shooting 8 for 23 from the field with 7 turnovers and 21 points, 5 boards, and 3 assists. Come on, Book. You know that that's not how it should be. And he knows that. But for some reason, the Arizona media never wants to call out Book. They did it one time last year, well deserved. But still, like, that's not how things should be. And with Jalen Green's disgusting shot diet, like, he needs to take more shots, and he needs to realize that. And even Coach Ott said no more ISO, and Dylan Brooks still, I'm gonna ISO Shea when I get the chance. It's like this team is not together right now. I don't understand. We had a great regular season run. We faced injury troubles, still got through it, and made it in the A seed. But we lose to Portland in the play-in. Then we beat the Warriors in the play-in to play Oklahoma City. And it's just a tad bit ridiculous. And Booker's turnovers were sloppy as well. He gives up on shots a lot. That was one turnover I saw where Chet went to guard him, but like, dude, Book, like, it's Chet. He's gonna be there every time. He's a good defender. Sorry, but he is. But you're gonna have to take those shots. You can't be literally mid-shot and kicking it out. Can't do that, Book. You know you can't do that. He needs to be way more aggressive, and if teams are gonna realize that he's not, then it's just gonna be easy wins for them. But yeah, that's pretty much all essentially I have to say about Oklahoma City versus Phoenix. Let's get on to the next topic. Now I want to talk about the Lakers and LeBron James, a team that, I mean, nobody thought going into this series against the Houston Rockets that it would be 2-0 right now. I didn't even think it would be 2-0. I thought the Lakers were going to give the Rockets a run for their money, and I think a lot of people did also, but I don't think they thought it was going to be like this. And obviously Kevin Durant was out in Game 1, but he came back in Game 2 and scored, I think, 22 points or 20 points in the first half. I mean, KD looked great. And all the things that we were hearing was that his knee, he wasn't mobile, he couldn't move around like how he wanted to. But he looked great in the first half, but we'll get to that. I want to talk about LeBron a little bit. I'm a LeBron glazer, if I'm being real here. In Game 2, LeBron had 28 points, 8 boards, 7 assists, 8 for 20 from the field, not shooting the best. But, I mean, you can take a look at it and say he still did what he needed to do. And I can't remember who said it after Game 1, or let me say Game 1 stats here. 19 points, 8 boards, 13 assists, 9 for 15 from the field in Game 1 for LeBron. I can't remember who said it. Maybe it was Stephen A. LeBron might be trying to get into the Magic era, right? Like, if you watch the first half of the Game 1 against the Rockets, LeBron was just feeding everybody. He had 10 assists in the first half. I think that's the most assists he's ever had in the first half of a playoff game ever, which is super impressive. But shout out to Luke Kennard, Marcus Smart, the whole team. Everybody looks completely bought in. No Luka or Reeves, let's remember. And the Lakers are up 2-0 against the Houston Rockets. And shout out to JJ Redick for an elite second half adjustment in Game 2 on Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant scored 2 points in the second half of Game 2 yesterday against the Lakers, and it was great. I mean, they were just doubling him from so many different angles, and he didn't know who was going to double him, and so it threw him off guard. And I think he had about 8 or 9 turnovers, a bunch, because he was scrambling. He wasn't expecting everyone to just blitz him as he would. And KD is a guy who you essentially can blitz because he's not an elite level passer. And people on Twitter, it's like, oh, why don't they just double LeBron? Well, because LeBron's an elite playmaker and always finds the open man, and that's just the truth. But shout out to JJ Redick. Shout out to the Lakers. I've had a lot of fun. I've won money on both the games. So shout out to them for that. But for real, Luke Kennard and Marcus Smart playing out of their minds. Marcus Smart, like, averaged 9 points and 1 assist or 1 steal a game in the regular season, and opened up the first quarter of last game with 12 points, 2 steals, just hammering it in. Pause. But you get what I'm saying. It was phenomenal play from Marcus Smart. I'm pretty sure he ended with 28. Luke Kennard ended with some high 20s. JJ Redick fully unlocked Luke Kennard, and I think you could almost expect it because they're a similar play style, right? 2 elite shooters. Jay knew how to get open in his playing days, and he knew what he had to do and what the team had to do to get him open, and he's almost running the same sets like he was back in the day. And they were Jayshawn Tate bumping up against LeBron, firing him up, hit the 3 over Sengun. It was awesome. It was awesome. I'm loving what I'm seeing from the Lakers. This is more or less just wanting me to talk about the Lakers. We'll get to the Rockets in another episode because I want to see Game 3 and how they adjust at home, because I know playing on the road's hard, and in LA, I get it. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that it's just first Game 2 jitters and with KD back. But yeah, shout out to the Lakers, shout out to LeBron, and let's get to the next topic. As of today in the NBA, the Bucks hired Taylor Jenkins, the previous Memphis Grizzlies head coach. The second I saw the notification, I was like, I love this, and everybody should as well. Doc obviously being gone. It's a great hire. I think at first, initially, when he got fired from Memphis, I was a little bit confused, but, that's way past now. But I really like the hire. It was reported that Giannis had no idea that this was happening, but then I saw another tweet where, that is complete bullshit, and he did have a role in hiring Taylor Jenkins, so maybe this kind of spices up the Giannis stuff. And the Giannis rumors are still running rampant around the NBA. I mean, Suns fans are like, oh, he posted on Instagram the sun will rise again. But he's out here taking photos of, we should be in the playoffs. Maybe that was a Centel tweet, but maybe it wasn't. But, I mean, it's really tough. And it's just the Giannis situation has always been super weird to me. I'm kind of sick and tired of talking about it. I was almost just wanting to leave this completely out of this episode because it's almost exhausting at this point. It's like the last 2 years, it's like, is Giannis staying? Is Giannis leaving? Reportedly, he hasn't talked to the front office since the trade deadline when they had that big conversation. I have no idea what's going on because nobody can get the real answers. Is Shams telling the truth? Is he lying? I don't think he'd lie because that would just lose his credibility. But then you see all these Milwaukee reporters saying the complete opposite things. I have no idea what's going on. And I have here in my notebook, does he stay? Does he leave? And I have no idea how to answer that question if I'm being honest with you. I know I wrote it down myself and I probably should have an answer, but I still don't. It's honestly a flip of a coin at this point for if he stays or if he leaves. Hey, if he wants to come to Phoenix, be my guest. Hey, they were interested in Jalen Green at the deadline is what I heard. What I heard through the wire is that they were interested in Jalen Green. If that's what it takes, along with maybe Rasheer and Kaman and some other things, yeah, sure, I'm totally down. Giannis is 31 years old. Pair him up a book, Shaq and Kobe, maybe. I don't know. But does he stay? Does he leave? I don't have the answers for you right now on that. Maybe you have the answers, so comment below whether you think he's staying or leaving. But let's get on to the next topic. So this is the last topic of the episode. I just want to give a quick shout out to Keldon Johnson before we get into this. This is more about Wemby and the Spurs, but shout out to Keldon Johnson. He won Sixth Man of the Year. And a video came out, and I'll put it up on the screen here.
Yes, Keldon, you deserve it, baby. That is so good. God, good job. Woo!
Video came out where he was super emotional after he won this award, and he talked about how Greg Popovich came up to him when he was still coaching and was like, hey, KJ, we need you to come off the bench. And he was 23 or 24 at the time, or however old he was, and he said, yeah, sure, anything for the team, but mentally, that really defeated him. That really bothered him because he was the leading scorer. He had just come off winning a gold medal in the Olympics. Everything was looking bright for Keldon Johnson, and everything still looks great for Keldon Johnson. Obviously, he won the Sixth Man of the Year, but for him to show that much emotion with his family around him, and he's talked about how tough of a year he's had this year, because I think some family problems, but that's not my place to talk about it. I just really appreciate that from Keldon Johnson. It shows that these basketball players aren't just basketball players; they're humans too. And I think that's what this team shows a lot of, just a lot of pride in what they do and a lot of emotion. Like Wemby crying after a loss. People are like, oh, I don't like that Wemby cry. Oh my God, who cares? He's showing emotion. He wants to win. Why wouldn't he cry if he lost? He's upset. He's frustrated. But yeah, just shout out to Keldon Johnson, man. It's super great to see just a guy like that showing so much emotion about winning a Sixth Man of the Year award when a lot of people sometimes tend to overlook that award. And he did win it over Jaime Jaquez, which he was in contention for as well. I'm blanking on the third guy. I think it was Keldon, Jaime, and then the third guy. I'm blanking on it. But yeah, shout out to Keldon Johnson. And obviously, if you watch Game 2 of Spurs versus Trailblazers, Wemby went down with a bad injury in his 12th minute of playing in the game. He went down and fell on his face and hit his jaw, and it looked like he almost fractured his jaw, but he ended up having a concussion. And he's on concussion protocol, and everything looks to be trending right towards Wemby with that injury. And so who knows if he's back by Game 3. I really doubt it. It's the first game in Portland, so it might be a tough one for the Spurs, but De'Aaron Fox needs to step up. Dylan Harper needs to step up. Castle needs to step up. KJ needs to step up. Devin Vassell needs to step up. Everybody needs to step up with Wemby being gone because Wemby is such a huge, his net rating when he's on the floor, the Spurs are a insanely better team when he's not, which everybody knows that. But yeah, hopefully everything goes well for Wemby. Everything, like I just said, everything looks to be trending upwards with him. Just a little bit of a headache is what Dylan Harper said when he asked him when he hit his head on the floor. So when we get more news on that, obviously we'll come back on the VIP section and we'll talk more about it. But yeah, thanks for watching the VIP section. I'm your host, Jacob Hamilton. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It really means a lot to me, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.